Hi guys, welcome to SHILLEM'S Stitches, and today we're going to see how to make an halter neck baby top with double breasted shorts. If this is what you want to see, please stay by. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Once again, thank you for stopping by, and without wasting much time, let's get into the business of the day. First, we are going to see how much fabric we need. So to get this, I divide my chest circumference for this baby top, which is 21 inches by 4, and that gives 5.25 inches. I'll go ahead and add ease allowance of 1 inch and sewing or seam allowance of 1 inch. That comes to 7.25, and 7.25 by 2 is 14.5, so approximately 15 inches, and the length for this baby top 15 inches. So I'm going to be cutting 15 inches by 15 inches for both the front and the back. So this is my fabric on my work table. I'll get a start point and cut off that 1 inch and then measure my 15 inches down the length. So this is 15 inches by 15 inches, 2 pieces folded together. First thing I'm going to be doing now is to get my neckline, which is 4.5. I've done that already, and then by armhole depth of 4.5 as well, and draw out the vertical and horizontal lines as you see me do. I'll now go ahead and put the chest circumference plus the ease allowance and the seam allowance. That is what I've just done. The next thing is to curve out my armhole like this, and that will be for the front armhole. Okay, so once that is done, I'll go ahead and put the chest circumference again at the end of the length of the top. Okay, you can actually use your waist circumference divided by 4, but I'll be using the same chest circumference just like that. Children clothes does not really need much fitting per se, so I'll come up by half an inch just to give it a curve. This is totally optional, you can choose not to do that. So once that is done, I will just go ahead and cut out according to my pattern. On the front side of this top, I'll come down with half an inch just to curve the neckline. So I'll separate them into 2, and then I'll go ahead and that's the front line I'm doing, cutting out half an inch to make the front, that's the shoulder line, a little bit curved. Okay, so after separating that, this is for the front now, and then I'll go ahead and work on the back piece. For the back piece, I'll measure at 3 inches from the midpoint there, and then curve it out to the armhole. That way it balances up with the front armhole, since we are creating an halter neck. Remember, it is an halter neck we are making here. So once this is done, I will just go ahead and put a slit at the back for button, since I'm not going to be using a zipper. So I'm using the slit length of about 3 inches here. I'll slit it open, and then we'll go ahead and do our stitching. That's the front and the back labeling right now. So the next thing we're going to do is to stitch our armhole. So I'm going to be measuring the length of the bias I'll be cutting. I'm using the same fabric, so I've cut out the length equivalent to it and then folded it outward, like use the wrong side, use the right side to face the wrong side and stitch it down, then turn it over so that the right side will be facing on the showing on the right side again. Meanwhile, in between that, remember to notch your seam before you stitch down again. I've done that now, and that is what is this I'm showing you now. I'll just go ahead and notch it and then turn it over like this and stitch it down. So I've done for both sides for the front part. So the next thing is to cut off the excesses and threads that are not necessary. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to this channel. What I'm going to be doing next now is to reduce the front neckline to the same thing as the back neckline. The front neckline, the back neckline is actually measuring about 4 inches, and then I'm going to stitch the front one to about that same size. I've done that right now. What I'm doing now is to create my neck circle for the halter neck. So I have these two pieces measuring 10 inches by 10 inches, and I folded them together, and I'm going to be cutting out the neck collar now, so to speak. So I'm using 2 inches as the width, and then the wideness of the collar is 2.5 inches. So these are the two markings you are seeing here. So I'll just cut out in such pattern. So once this is done, I'll just turn. You see, this is what we have now. Remember, we are trying to get the neckline of 4 inches, so 2 2 2 2 like that will give us all of that. That's how we cut that to before, and the width was just 2.5. So you stitch around inside like this, and then you notch your work, then turn it over like this. Okay, after turning it over, you take your iron, your pressing iron, press it down so you have something like this. Take the midpoint of this, and then take the midpoint of the front side and attach it accordingly. On the same side of this, you are attaching the front side, take the back side as well and attach it accordingly. Make sure you arrange it, look at the video very well, and then arrange it the way it should come. See what I'm doing here now? I took the midpoint of the front and the midpoint of that collar's line, and then attached it, then arranged my work very well and fixed the back the way it should be. Once you are doing it, you will understand it. So I just used my pins to hold it down, and then I've stitched it, and this is how it looks like. So the next thing to do is to hem down your work round about. So after hemming, this is what I have. So this is how it came out. All right, so the next thing to do is to stitch the sides together and then hem the end of this top. Okay, I hope you understand. So this is how the top is going to come out. If you like it fitted, you can still remove your 1 inch allowance, or you can choose to leave it. Depends on you. So this is how it came out. So next, let's proceed to make our shorts. On the work table, what I have here is 9 inches with 2 sides. So what I meant is 18 inches folded into 2 sides, and then I put my 7 inch there and mark the length, which is 12. How did I get my 7 inch? For the 7 inch I marked up there, what I did was to divide my hip circumference of 22 by 4, that is 5.5, plus ease allowance of 1 and seam allowance of 0.5, giving me 7 on the dot. So I took my cross depth of 8.0 and then an extension, cross extension of 1.5, and I'm joining it to the length just as you see me do here. So once that is done, I'll go ahead by making a curve over there with just 1/2 inch upward, and then curve this cross extension just like this. So that is that for the cutting of this short. I'm going ahead now to cut out according to the pattern. It's very easy to cut. So once I cut, I will now slit open for the both sides. I've gone ahead to slit them open for the front and then the back like this. So once that is done, you stitch alongside your crotch length for the front and then for the back as well. Arrange your work properly and then you stitch along that crotch side. So now this is the front. We'll be working on the front. I'm dividing the front into two now. This is what I'm doing now. Once I divide it, I'm going to cut it open so that I can be able to attach the cut at the strip for the buttons, just as we see on the picture. So for the strip, this is what I am using. I'm using that 3 inches width by 8 inches length. Alright, so because they are two, so I'm cutting it by 16 inches. So once I cut them now, I will fold it, stitch it outside and then turn it outward. It's very easy, very simple to do. Trust me, it's not as difficult as it's being explained. Okay, see that now? Fold it this way and stitch it down, then you turn it out. So I've gone ahead to do that. See what I have here. So this is how it should come out, and then I'll put in that open-ended side in between my cut out like this. Arrange it, make sure it's facing the side it's supposed to face. All right, so that start from the waist. You put it from the waist and then you arrange it like this. All right, then stitch down, stitch it along that line. So this is how it came out after I was done stitching it down. So I'm working on the back now. Stitch along that crotch line again. Before I join them, I will just cut out 1/2 inch from the front to give it that curvy shape at the front. So now that I've cut that out, so we'll go ahead and join both sides of the shorts. Working on the band, I'm using a band of about 3 inch wide, and then the length is about, the length has to be the length of the waist. That should be around just cut your band and just stitch it along. If it's excess, you cut it out. So once you do that, you fold inwards again, all right, and then you stitch it on the, see what I'm doing now? Attach front to front, you stitch down and then you stitch inward again. Make sure that the neat stitching is neat. Then for the back, you're going to form something like an elastic casing, and then you put an elastic band of around 10 inches. We're putting an elastic band of around 10 inches. So I'm facing my elastic band now, and that will be that for the back. Now that the back side is ready and the front side is also ready, we are almost done with this short. Okay, so I will just join them together. And sorry for the waist. Remember now, the waist is actually 20 inches and all of that, so you just cut around 10 to 12 inches length of the band. So for the we are still joining this shorts now. You go ahead and join them from the crotch side. See what I'm doing? Please just look through the video. It's quite explanatory. Really, it is quite explanatory. Just join, follow the steps, and you have exactly what you need to get. So we are done with these shorts, as it were. You just go ahead and give it a good press. So these are the buttons. You could actually use a bigger button. That's what I was trying to show you there. Depends on how you want to style it. You could actually use a button that matches, the top like that. This is the back. You understand? While you're stitching, make sure your lines are aligned. Okay, so we have come to the end of this tutorial. Please share this video.